Hello ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, this is Amanda, and today we're going to be continuing Vampire the Masquerade: Shadows of New York. I finally reached Big Beat Burger, hoping to recuperate from all the mental damage accumulated over the past few days. Only to find the doors are locked and nobody is inside. No, I need to be soothed. I need my routine. You've absolutely got to be kidding me. Closed? What the fuck do you mean, closed? I mean, we are in the middle of a pandemic. Everything's closed. Pandemic? What pandemic? Do you live under a fucking rock? It's a new SARS virus straight from China. The whole world is going crazy over it. People are dying left and right. Holy shit. I didn't know something like this could still happen in this day and age. Somehow it always felt like we were beyond it. But didn't Dakota say... whatever. Well, I guess it's lucky I'm dead. I walk away to avoid bringing more attention to myself. Now I understand why NYC feels downright apocalyptic tonight. I can't talk. It's like a psychedelic experience to see these familiar streets empty and abandoned. Well, let's see what parts of the city are still alive in the middle of a plague. An aristocratic taste? All this malaise spreading through the boroughs is putting me in a weird mood. Seems like I can't outrun it, so maybe I'll intensify it instead. Smallpox hospital, here I come. A familiar smile. It took just 2 days for the city to go all the last meal on Earth. I probably won't have a better chance to soak in the atmosphere. Sounds like I'm only gonna have one. Okay, so an aristocratic taste sounds like you're gonna go feed and maybe kill some more people. This one, I'm not sure. I guess it's supposed to be trying to get some alone time. I'm just wondering who that person is. It's there. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't done any of the feeding stuff yet, so I'm probably going to do an aristocratic taste. I entertained the thought of sneaking through a hospital to see how things appeared up close, but it looked like an actual war zone, so I decided against it. I don't know what I expected with the way healthcare reforms have been going on in this state. Fewer facilities in poorer areas, fewer beds, less funding. We're just reaping what they've sown. That's why I used to honestly consider going back to the old country. An American friend was like, "Why would you go back to that shithole?" He was shocked to learn we have normal, free healthcare. Anyway, if an active hospital won't do, this one might. The Smallpox Hospital on Roosevelt Island, built to quarantine the poor and the unloved victims of pandemics away from normal citizens' eyes. In spite of its disrepair, or maybe partly because of it, the architecture still manages to perfectly convey the building's painful history. There are ghosts here, but they are mostly the good, metaphorical kind, not the kind I usually see. Looks like there also might be a lone physical being here. I hear someone sneaking through the ruins. That's that for my peace and quiet. But oh well, I needed to satiate my thirst anyway. How do I approach that person? Through the shadows, say hi first, dominate, subdue them. Well, you know me, I never really turned down a way to practice my vampire powers. So I think I'm going to do subdue them. Or, well, I think I'm going to do through the shadows, just to see what that does. I become one with the shadows. I let the flow of the void take me in the direction of the footsteps. Eventually, a female shape appears in front of my eyes. Slowly, I emerge from the darkness behind her back. Wah! Only to spook my target the moment I do. In her panic, she drops something to the floor. It breaks into 1,000 little pieces. God! Don't scare me like that! I'm sorry? Ugh, look what you made me do! She kneels to pick up the pieces of some ugly glass sculpture. The shape is familiar. Was that a Scrooge McDuck figurine? Yes, it was. A Carl Banks design. They stopped making these decades ago. You don't even know how long it took me to find it. I was really looking forward to decorating my haven with this. Ugh. A Scrooge McDuck? Ugh, it's pop art, okay? Haven. Of course now I realize why I couldn't put it into words. It was the feeling she might be kindred. She seems airheaded and eccentric, but I wouldn't want to pick a fight with her. Call it a hunch. I apologize. My name is Julia. I'm a Lasombra representative for this city. So I'm kind of glad I didn't do the dominate one. I feel like that would have turned out bad. Some representative you are. Absolutely horrible first impression. Somehow we've never met before. You live here? I prefer keeping to myself these nights. More time for hobbies if you hide in secluded places like this. What's your name? Just call me Princess. Princess? My true name is for friends only, and after destroying my treasure, I count you a sworn enemy. When you least expect it, I will find you and I will trap you in a reality of eternal pain. I should complain to the court at least, honestly. Tell Helen to start looking for a replacement. So sorry, won't cut it, huh? Kadir would surely be thrilled to see Prince Helen assign me with a mission of looking for a rare Scrooge McDuck statue, but I'd prefer to avoid that fate, even if it doesn't seem very likely. How can I make it up to you? Should I, search for a replacement online, or... whatever. I'm not going to lie to you. I prefer to not stay mad for long. It's exhausting, and it's a threat to your beauty, both inner and outward. So yeah, I think I'm gonna ask you for a small favor. Then we'll be square, and I won't have to worry about becoming ugly. Sound good? What favor? See, I'm super into low art these days. That's why I collect stuff like Scrooge McDuck lamps. I used to be hardcore into high art before, studied the harmonic structure of Bach's cantatas, taught myself Arabic just to weep over Middle Eastern poetry, read a lot of Joyce and Adorno, etc. Eventually these hobbies got boring, as all things do, so I'm switching it up now. Comic books, heavy rock music, modern Hollywood movies, stuff made for small children, basically. The problem is, I think I'm still not low enough. There's still too much mastery of the form, too much restraint, too much respectability, too much tastefulness. I want to feel the rush of gazing into the soul of someone willing to admit to truly degenerate desires and obsessions. So I want the lowest kind of art you can find. Just sweep me off my feet and we'll be good. Not the kind of request I expected, but... How low is too low? There's no such thing as too low. Huh. Okay. Back when I was alive, I refused advances from a guy who lived just outside of Astoria. He definitely still owns some incredibly low art. But what exactly should I get her? A fantasy book, an anime DVD, a video game. Okay, so she said comic books, movies... You name it. I don't think she had a video game yet. So I'm gonna go for the video game. Okay, I will be back in a jiffy. Takes me just over an hour to get there, wake him in the middle of the night, mess him with his head a little, and get back with an appropriately low work of art. So, I've got something. Don't be shy. What is it? I show her a limited edition physical release of some obscure video game. So, have you ever played a video game? No, I don't think I ever thought of them as art. Well, see if this description my friend printed for me interests you enough to give them a try. Ahem. Idea versus. A lavishly budgeted American homage to the classics of the visual novel style, meaning to usher a new era for the genre into the West. 21 students awake in their abandoned high school with no recollection of what happened to them. A horrifying machine announces they're now part of a death game, and their only weapon is... ideology. Socialism, libertarianism, conservatism, fascism, liberalism. They all have their champion here. A series of intense school debates starts, and every loser is sentenced to death. Political science meets Hunger Games. Note! All characters depicted in this game are 18 years of age or older. The uncensored patch has already been applied. So yeah, it sure does sound like low art. Eyes down, I await her response. This is great. It is? Yeah, I have no idea what I'm looking at, but I can feel that it's utterly degenerate and naked in its intentions, just what I needed. Believe me, I've had more than enough of art trying to dazzle or win me over or be used as a stepping stone in someone's illustrious career. I just want someone to be like, screw it, I don't want to impress anyone, I don't want to get anywhere, I just want to vomit out my soul for all the freaks like me to see. I think that in its own way, this might be the ultimate form of art. So is my debt paid? I suppose. So can I know your name now? Let me think. No. She turns away and disappears into the night. Well, that was an interesting distraction from all the malaise in this city. I suppose it's time to go back to the miserable business I've been saddled with. The time comes for me to meet up with Kadir, and hopefully D'Angelo too. The last position on my list. This better be good. And that is D'Angelo's agency. Looks like a dump. Ugh. Perfect for the clan of the hidden. I thought he wasn't hidden. I thought he was missing, and to be honest, I kinda expected the worst. Why would we look for him in the most obvious place? I've been asking around and I've got a hunch. Just trust it and start looking. Fine. Who is D'Angelo anyway? He's a good man. A useful man. But it took me time to get used to him. He takes sleuthing very, very seriously. His thing is acting like an idiosyncratic noir detective. I hope it helps him cope with something, but I heard it helps him cope with something, but I never felt comfortable tackling the subject. Doesn't sound too quirky by this city standards. Wait, what is that? There's a rat on the floor, frozen in an unnatural position. Weird shit. I'm just gonna examine it because it says unnatural. Despite my disgust, I pick the rodent up. Now that's what being an investigator is all about. Leave no stone unturned. Shut up. This is so gross. What have you found out? I take a close, hard look at the rat. It's alive, but from what I see, he's just stretching out and like grinding his teeth without a care in the world. That's called bruxing. What? When a rat chatters its teeth, that's bruxing. He's not acting panic or aggressive, so I guess he's just happy. I look at its face. I don't know, his eyes keep coming out of the socket and going back in. It looks disgusting, like he's in a lot of pain. So he's boggling. He must be really content. I can't tell if he's like taking the piss or like making fun of me or something. How does he know so much about... Never mind, I'm getting an eerie feeling. This is weird, man. I have a feeling there's kindred hiding nearby weird. My thoughts exactly. Kadir slowly approaches a secluded corner of the room. And there it is. He kicks a pile of clothes lying on the floor. I'm just a corpse. Leave me alone. Lucky for you, we're all corpses here, D'Angelo. You're among friends. Clumsily, drunkenly, the pile of clothes transforms into an unkempt man who looks like he's suffering from some sort of skin disease. You know, a true friend would just bury me. Bury me. I don't know what I'm doing. Unlucky for you, we're not that kind of friends. Lucky, unlucky, schmucky my ass. How did you guess I was here? See, I've been asking around for the past few days. What I've learned is that, for reasons that can be best described as nebulous, you've made quite a few enemies since last year. Yeah, tell me something I don't know. And one thing that caught my interest is how everyone has it on good authority that your place was raided, a few times without you being found, yet nobody has assumed responsibility for these acts. Hell, doesn't this den always look like it was just raided? Can't blame anyone for making an educated assumption. I had a hunch these might be more than rumors. See, it sure looks like a convenient coincidence when everyone hears something that makes them look the other way, and coincidences are for fools. Well, you've got my number, and you can see my ugly mug right in front of you, so it's no use playing dumb, I suppose. Agreed. You've seriously spent all these weeks holed up in here? Is the hunger not getting to you? got a lot of critters around this area, and we've become chums. Some of these rats actually got addicted to the kiss. They come to me every night, acting like coke hounds, begging for it. Then getting them drunk just to get some rush out of feeding on them. Feels a bit like slathering a horribly burned piece of pizza in ketchup, but in this situation, I'll take what I can get, you dig? It's so gross, I fail to keep my poker face. He notices. So, who's the dame? Julia Sawinski, a detective investigating Baron Callahan's death. He raises his head for a short while to stare in Kadir's eyes and treat him with a vulgar snicker. Phooey. So somebody has finally put the old man on ice. Whoever did it did the whole world a favor. Did the world a huge favor. Absolutely, but I got orders to establish who that was, and I've been stumbling in the dark for the past few days. We need your help. I'll be damned. Your sleuth skills must really not be up to par if you're begging a bum for help. Not exactly a sleuth, it's an unusual case. It's have some dignity, man. He has no dignity, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'm not going to say I'm not a sleuth because, I don't know, I feel like he wouldn't respect that, so I'm going to say it's an unusual case. It's an unusual case. How so? It's extremely political. Phooey. I asked, how is it unusual? Feels like the game was rigged against me from the start, like I'm just bumbling around and achieving nothing while everyone laughs behind my back. Jeez, you sound hopeless, kiddo. Haven't you ever read a Chandler book? That's how it always is. Just do your best, endure the embarrassment, and hope you stumble on the answer by accident. He accidentally lets a metal flask in his hand slip out and fall to the floor, then struggles to pick it up. Kadir can't bear to watch. God, what happened to you, Gianni? I've never seen you this low before. Stress-related disorders causing a disruption in my routine is what I think a shrink would say. Happens when a lot of shady folks are out to put a stake through your chest. Help us out. Tell us what you know, and we might be able to help you in return. Yeah, respect where it's due, miss, but I think it's going to be the other way around. I ain't telling the two of you shit, pardon my French, until I know I can count on some protection. Gianni? Don't you Gianni me, Kadir al-Asmai. I know your level, but I also know that your honor is one of the few things you care about. You want me to endanger myself? You put it on the line for me. And that's that. You either promise to extend your protection to me, or the moment you step away from here, I sneak away into the sewers, and that's the last time you'll ever see me. Kadir shoots me a weary sideways glance. I know, he drives a hard bargain. Especially for someone whose sense of self-worth does not exactly appear to be sky-high at the moment. Maybe, but I do value my unlife quite a lot, thank you very much. Friends? Kadir sighs. Alright, but 3 months from now, or the moment Prince Panhard tells me it's no longer possible for the court to offer you safety without compromising its principles, you're on your own. No negotiations, that's the only deal I can strike with you. Take it or leave it. D'Angelo scratches his head, grunts loudly, tugs on his mask, and stands up. That's Jake with me, big fella. I might have strong opinions about Panhard, but hell, I'm sitting on dynamite. I'll take what I can get. Who else in New York would you rather rely on? You want me to call the mayor? My opinions about the prince aren't that bad, so what do you folks want from me? Who wants you dead? Ah, starting the interrogation with a tricky one. Wouldn't I like to know? Step up, Gianni. You seem to be forgetting how quid pro quo works. Wouldn't I like to know won't cut it. What can I tell you? That warlock, Agathion or whatever his name is, presumed dead? Tamika? I realized I was probably mispronouncing her name all last episode, so I apologize for that. It's probably Tamika. Tamika, MIA with SI in her back. So possibly KIA by now. Hope the kook, hidden in her office under Vanderweyden's skirt. Around the time they started having troubles, some rough-looking streetwise kindred started hanging out at my usual spots. Didn't take me long to connect the dots. Wait, what is this connection between you and those three? Ever since last year, folks started hiring us for various gigs, some even trying to get us to join their coteries. All of these opportunities were rather short-lived. However, the delicate tightrope act of working for various employers made us fully aware. There's an intrasect alliance in NYC. Kindred from both sides often work for the same goals without knowing it. The moment we started figuring it all out, a cleanup crew went downtown. I know the serious Warlock boys sniffed something out in his own backyard, but then poof, he disappeared. Then I lost all contact with Hope and Tamika and went AWOL. Hope they're doing fine, and they didn't snitch on me to anybody. They are, and they didn't even tell me you guys knew each other, so I think you're safe. Oh, wait a second. Why were you milking them for intel, kiddo? I found a list of 4 names on Callahan's remains. You can probably guess what they were. I get the picture, yeah. Christ almighty. I've heard it was just a list of freelancers, potential associates, probably prepared by Carter Vanderweyden. My money is on him being involved, but I smell bullshit. Have you got any idea who might have done this boss in? Any more clues? None at all. That's where we want you to come in, friend. Investigate the murder scene. The only way you know how. Tell us what you think. Guide Julia in the proper direction. D'Angelo sizes me up, scratching his head. Sure, whatever. I will try my best, kiddo. Lead the way. I'll drive you there, or at least as close as possible. I wouldn't be welcome in that deep and anarch territory. Just clean yourself up a bit, Gianni. I just had my upholstery cleaned earlier this week. After dropping us off at the same place Catherine first introduced me to Mia, Kadir quickly drives away. Here we are. Swell! A classic closed room mystery. Let me take a look. He starts walking around the office, carefully taking in every element. So, you're saying you're basically a nobody, but you can simply call Catherine Weiss and have her open sesame and anarch crib for you? Dunno, sure sounds like somebody to me. Don't misunderstand. I only met her during the course of this investigation. Everyone's basically been treating me like dirt wherever I go, and I'm only acknowledged enough to legitimize this sham. Lord Castlereagh. Now that was an abrupt interruption. I was busy sharing, damn it. Excuse me? He's pointing at the painting of the man overseeing this entire office. I meant murder on the way. He had a mask like Castlereagh. Very smooth he looked, yet grim. 7 bloodhounds followed him. He seems to have completely switched his modus operandi upon seeing the murder scene. He's in his own little world, and his behavior has become more machine-like, erratic. Still don't follow. I never knew the old Irish coot was into the Napoleonic era. But then again, I have no idea about his exact age, of course, so maybe that's when he lived, or was born. Anywho. Pay minimal attention to me, all right. Who am I looking at here? Right. That's one Lord Castlereagh, born as Robert Stewart, a British Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs at the beginning of the 18th century. Incredibly influential, incredibly hated. Ask one fella about Castlereagh and he'll tell you. He was the man who destroyed Napoleon for good, the man who shaped British politics for ages, the man who built foundations for European unity at Vienna. Ask another fella, he'll tell you he's the man who destroyed the Irish Parliament, the man who cracked down on any possibility of reform, and then supported the cavalry massacring peaceful protesters. He's spouting these facts like a computer. Is that the hint of a detective's photographic memory? I have to say, it's downright perverted for an Irishman to put up Castlereagh's portrait in his office. Definite proof that our victim was a stick in the head. As if we needed more evidence here. Probably idolized him. Maybe identified with him, even. Yeah, that's possible. Callahan and his ilk adore those jagoffs who strive to reach across the aisle and achieve hard compromises. Too bad nobody else ever remembers them as well. I feel like I should say something. I've got this nagging feeling in the back of my mind. So that was his role model. Well, that's pretty obvious, I think. How did he die? Maybe that'll give us insight into who might have had a motive to kill him, because if he was behaving like Castlereagh, maybe if Castlereagh was killed by his own or killed by the enemy, that could probably give us an idea about who to look for. That's what I think, at least. So that's what I'm going to do. How did he die? Because I think it's pretty obvious to who his role model is, and he's pretty good looking as, like, what does that do? How did he die? Committed suicide in the 1820s. His family took every sharp item away from him, but he was, well, dedicated. Why did he do it? Pressure's mounting from all sides. Deserved hate coming from all sides. Plain old overwork. Also might have gone nuts. Kept saying he saw ghosts. Otherworldly silhouettes were guiding him. Yada yada. An unpleasant feeling grows in my stomach. Also, there's a rumor someone was threatening to expose him as a homosexual. Having to choose between being publicly denounced and ending it all by his own hand, he chose the latter. Well, that's just depressing. Maybe, but the silver lining is it couldn't have happened to a nicer fella. He stops above Callahan's corpse and laughs. Posterity will ne'er survey a nobler grave than this. Here lie the bones of Castlereagh. Stop, traveler, and piss. And he kicks his bones with glee, causing me to jump a little. Is he still under the influence? Isn't that tampering with the crime scene? Kiddo, as far as I can see, this crime scene has been fucked with 3 times over. Can't really be ruined more than it already has. I agree, but it looked about the same the last time I was here. Then it was already a total mess before you ever got here. Whatever. Standing by the metal shutters on his windows, he abruptly changes the topic. Lightproof. Have you ever toyed with these? No. In general, I avoid machinery like that. It doesn't like me, and I don't like it. They don't like you. They don't work properly. It's like I give technology an allergy. Sometimes industrial cameras mess up my face, sometimes I can't use a phone. You'd think it could be useful, but it's just a curse. I see. You think these blinds could have been the murder weapon? Hadn't crossed my mind. Yeah, I wondered about that. How so? Well, if there is no way out, then the only thing would be if the blinds were open. Yeah, if someone opened them, but then who closed them is the question. Well, they were part of the... I mean, they are one of the most prominent features in the room, so I would be suspicious about that. So yeah, I did wonder about that. Yeah, I did entertain the possibility. Would make sense, wouldn't it? Let's say for some reason Arstiff was standing there as the sun was rising. Maybe staring at poor old Castlereagh, looking for a soulmate to accompany him to the other side. Yet another guy pushed to suicide by politics, pretty old school, romantic, yada yada. Or maybe it was torpor, or maybe it was a freak accident, or maybe it was premeditated. Oh, the mask went down. In any case, sunlight would be a perfect murder weapon, no? He takes off the mask to shoot a disfigured smile my way. Well, that's just a theory anyway. Well, it sounds... sound. Does it? Because I was just spitballing. It's practically impossible to make certain now, kiddo. The most logical cause of final death would be damage to the heart, and that can easily be done without damage to the skeleton. And he sets off with a wink. What is he playing at here? The safe. Anyone made a crack at it yet? As far as I know, only Callahan knew the code, and the safe itself was pretty hard to crack. Watch me, kiddo. He presses an ear to the safe and slowly begins to rotate the dial. Stop clowning around. You're a safe cracker now? When you're cursed with continence and such as mine, and you decide on a job such as mine, you gotta be a jack of all trades. Yeah, but still sounds pretty hard. Last year, there was a random feller visiting a heritage museum in Alberta. He found a safe that hasn't been opened in 40 years. Not a single specialist nor even a blacksmith could have handled it. The man just studied the numbering, listened closely to the mechanism, attempted the most sensible combinations, and voila, the unthinkable happened. That's where just trusting your instinct leads you. Too bad he found nothing inside but an old pay sheet. A metallic screech. The door's open. I'll be damned. And it looks like we got the same case here. Confetti. A few random papers scattered around. But for what it's worth, the lock had obvious traces of mechanical manipulation. Probably recent, too. Reeks of foul play. But what do we know for sure, really? I'm done here. You can take over. Another wink, another walk in a random direction. I look inside the safe. Quite spacious. I haphazardly grab everything that's left inside the safe and hide it on my person, then close the door so that nobody knows he managed to crack it. When I turn around, he's motioning me to come closer to a sheet of paper lying on the desk. So yeah, kiddo, you probably know the entire beeswax about Schrodinger's cat, so I'm not going to bore you with that, but honestly, anything could have happened here. I read the text he's written on the empty page. This place is wired. Oh, I thought I was going to say weird. This place is wired. It gives me chills. I think I'm okay. I've tried to record my own voice a bunch of times on different hardware just to see if I can. It mostly comes out as noise. He nods, then starts scribbling something else as he continues blabbering on and on. The best strategy would be to make an educated guess about what happened here, then interrogate everyone about it. Maybe you'll take someone by surprise, drop a hook on them. The wiretap is a chip in the broken glass bottle on the floor, absolutely sure it belongs to Kaiser. Kaiser, the elusive information broker, the talk of the city, finally got an excuse to nab him. I understand. I think I have an idea of how to use it to find him. Should I notify Kadir? Scribble, scribble. Takes longer than before. So yeah, I'll be meeting up with Kadir. You stay here, sister. Maybe there's something you've been missing. Your call, doll. You're going beyond his jurisdiction, so he will try to stop you. Whatever you do, just give me a 10-minute heads up, you know, so I can get to relative safety. For sure. It's back into the sheriff's custody for me. See you around, Julia. Sorry this old codger couldn't have been more help. It's more than enough. Eventually let Kadir know. I will get his ass. I'll say eventually let Kadir know. If I don't contact him in 2 hours, let Kadir know what happened. I'll be going. Yeah, I like Kadir. I don't want to betray his trust at all, but I've got a plan. Now all I need to execute it is a clueless bystander. This guy will do. Do you, need me for anything else? Not really. Better take a hike before the guy you've just called shows up. I can't guarantee he won't make you hurt. Ugh, will do. He puts his head down and obediently trots away down the street. I might have messed with his head a little too much using my wily kindred charms, but I needed him to tell Kaiser where I want to meet, quite clearly, multiple times. I would have given him the kiss as thanks for at least, but I told the big man I won't be here all night and that he'd better hurry up, so I want to be ready whenever he comes. Less than 15 minutes later, a menacing black limo takes a fast, sharp turns onto my street and stops right in front of me. Suddenly, something like an acid flashback hits me. I know this limo. Oh, yeah, I've seen it all over the place a few days, but I never thought it might be tailing me. Still, it must have. Yeah, the black limo that almost hit her on her way to the graveyard. I remember that. Looks like I'm finally about to get some answers. Doors open and a raspy voice comes from inside. Get the fuck in, Sawinski. I smile and accept the invitation. There he is, Kaiser, the king of New York City's information highways, surrounded by screens, speakers, and newfangled technological gizmos of all kinds. Yeesh! Huh. First impression, he's one repulsive son of a bitch. D'Angelo was also a sewer rat, and he might have had similar physical disadvantages, but at least he was wholly endearing. With this guy, there's no room for any kind of sentiment. He's inhumanly cold, and I get the feeling he's been like this for ages. So I wonder if he's a Nosferatu, because I don't know. He must be a Nosferatu. You're getting on my nerves, little lady, and I'm far from being the only one. I get the sense he meant for all this to be threatening. Instead, I'm elated. After a week of running around like a headless chicken, unsure if I was getting anywhere, finally, I get a compliment. If there's one thing I learned back at Lodestar, it was that you only know you're doing your job correctly when someone powerful gets visibly mad. I have no idea what you mean. No need to play dumb, especially considering you're a natural. The art hole, double spiral, the SI, Torque's den. How does it feel to have made enemies absolutely everywhere? He scoffs at me with pure contempt. Listen, I will speak as plainly as humanly possible to get this through your little head, since it's obvious you're not willing to read the obvious signals. You were hired for one thing, and one thing only, little lady, to suck at your job, and you couldn't even do that correctly. People keep stopping by my limo this week, telling me, Kaiser, dear Kaiser, we keep trying to make her understand how hopeless she is, but she just won't get a clue. She doesn't have any evidence, she doesn't have any testimony, but she still goes around knocking on everyone's doors, causing disturbances. It's such a fucking headache. Usually I try to be a jovial host, so I cheer them up. She's not that much of a dunce, I say. She's making mountains out of molehills to make herself seem useful, I say. She's about to stop. But you, in your infinite idiocy, decided to prove me wrong in the most spectacular fashion by knocking on my very own door, forcing my hand, threatening me even. Are you autistic or something? Huh? Can't read basic fucking social cues? Clues? Stop for 1 second and ask yourself, Qui bono? Who even fucking wants you to solve anything, let alone this case? See, this city has a delicate system set in place. Usually it's flawless, but ever since you started tinkering with it, it's been having these irritating malfunctions and it's driving people... Are you done? A weird, disgusting sound, something between a gargle and a bark, escapes his throat. Unbelievable. All I'm hearing is that you're in possession of some information that might help me solve the puzzle I was presented with. If that's the case, I'm going to ask you to share it. I swear you're absolutely irredeemable, you fucking garbage dump of a woman. How do I get through all the rubbish in your head and drive my point in? Don't you know who I am? Tell me the truth or else I want to see your higher-ups. Didn't want that Callahan's office wired. I don't want to show my hand. Maybe I can threaten him with something. I'll say tell me the truth or else just because I feel like, I don't know. The truth would give me the same, would at least tell me who the higher-ups are, I guess. Your opinion of me is completely irrelevant, Kaiser. I want intel. I want the truth. If you're not going to give it to me, we can take it to my superiors. He bites his lip so strongly, it would certainly bleed if he was still alive. Fine. If you want to do it this way, I have an idea. You want to know who pulls the strings? Give me 10 minutes and I can arrange a meeting. But this is your last chance to turn back. If you don't, I can tell you now, you're going to be sorry. The big kahuna. Finally, now we're talking. Yes, the big kahuna. So this is your final answer, huh? Absolutely. Unbelievable. He takes out his phone and begins furiously typing. I relax in the seat. Finally, we're getting somewhere. It might be dangerous, yeah, but at least I will finally get a clue of what's going on. I'm just saying, this is the point of no return. My boss doesn't fuck around. Best case, you're going to beg him to take you in. Whatever, he keeps grumbling under his breath, but I'm not even listening. I just watch the streets go by. Until out of the blue, I experience a strong sense of foreboding. I first spot her in the corner of my eye. She's hovering right next to Kaiser with an expression that's impossible to discern. When she speaks, her voice is machine-like yet otherworldly. Fine. We're 5 minutes away or so. Get the boys ready to give her the Mel Gibson special. The moment he puts away his phone, the silhouette disappears. We're 5 minutes away. Better start figuring out the ways you might prove yourself useful to the honcho. There is no honcho. Oh my god, of course this motherfucker is setting me up. I need to get out of here now. I do the first thing that comes to mind. I grab the door handle and pull. He notices me scrambling and struggles to grab me. Hold up, you stupid fucking... Glass breaking, loud thuds of something heavy hitting the asphalt, tires screeching. I think he grabbed me. I think he tried to pull me back in. I think we fell out the limo. I think his body cushioned my fall. But I'm struggling to process what's going on. It's like I'm blanking out. When I come to, he's already attempting to get up, cursing under his breath. The limo has stopped a little further in, but whoever the driver is, he's not coming out. Fucking... When he stands up, he will be out for vengeance. He's an older vampire who knows how strong he is. I need something that will give me the advantage. The pepper spray, of course. It probably won't be as effective as it would be on a living person, but it's still worth a try. I limp toward the asshole, disarm the device, aim toward his eyes, and unload the entire canister. Ag! It worked! It actually worked! I keep up the offensive. I punch him, kick him, throw him around. I pummel him, smash his head against a curb. I struggle to harm him in whatever way I can, like a frightened animal. I don't know how long it lasts. Might be 1 minute, might be eternity. The driver steps out of the limo to help his boss, but once he sees what I'm doing to him, he runs away in panic. Feels good. Feels absolutely horrible. Once I'm done, I sit on the curb and scream my lungs out to avoid crying. Then, I look at him. Well done. He seems shocked, barely hanging on. I know what I've done was extremely stupid. I did hear how he's one of the most influential figures in the city. But that's probably why he never expected to get his ass whooped, especially by someone like me. When he speaks again, his voice is pathetic, surprisingly close to a whimper. You'll pay. You'll fucking pay. You lost, mislaid, and abandoned property of a woman. He's unwell, talking nonsense. I approach him again. You wanted to have me whacked. What, do you think I'm stupid? You needed to be taught a lesson. Well, would you look at who ended up teaching who? Now talk. Tell me everything you know about Callahan's final death. All of it. Go to hell. You can fuck me up however bad you want. I'm still not going to tell you shit. You try anything, there will be consequences. There will be retribution. My mouth is shut. He might be my last chance to solve this case, but if I don't force him to talk, he won't. There's a burgeoning thought in my mind, but it scares even me. Do I dare push him to the edge, make him suffer until he squeaks? Ruthlessness is the mark of a true La Sombra. That's what it said. But do I want that? And I'm thinking about what Tamika said. How if we rebel against it, then maybe that's how we regain some of our humanity. I feel like if we make him suffer, that'll probably make it even worse. So I'm going to make some barrier that I won't cross. See what it was. No more human, still humane. All of you might be fucking monsters, but that doesn't mean I am. Big words for someone who just beat up her fucking elder. I will still get back at you. I will appeal to whoever I can. Yeah, sweetheart, whatever. So that's the good thing about being the lone voice of dissent. It's a mutually beneficial deal. One side gets the unearned moral superiority, the other side gets no resistance whatsoever. Oh, I will resist by whatever means necessary. Spare me. Tomorrow night, you will see the compromise that everyone agreed on long ago. Progress is coming like a train. If you want to throw yourself on the tracks, be my guest. I'd love to watch. Tomorrow night? Why tomorrow? Julia! I look back over my shoulder and see Kadir. Kadir! Bloody hell, what is wrong with you? Why does he look like that? This is why I didn't want you to get involved. I had a hunch. A hunch that the moment you got a whiff of true power, all brakes will be off. Look, you're talking nonsense. You're out of your damned mind. I should have you in for a potential masquerade breach. Just let me explain myself. This ugly fucker tried to have me beaten, maybe even killed. Don't you care about that? I have no idea, Sheriff. No idea. She's dangerous. Psychotic. I will take care of you in a moment. In my car. Kaiser, hold on. I'm not done questioning him yet. It looks like there's a major conspiracy to... I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, and you're gonna be glad I leave it at that. If you do that, I'm gonna have to assume you're complicit. That's worth 2 strikes in my book. You don't want to risk a third. So that's that. Tell me, what was all my footwork even for? No. We'll be seeing each other, little lady. Can you hear this? Go home, Julia. But... go home. Fine, I will. No. But before I do, I take a quick peek into Kaiser's limo, still abandoned a little further down the street. I skipped the church visit again tonight. I want more time to finish this report. Who knows, it might be my final one. I want to spend more time with Dakota. Yeah, just forget about the rest of the world. A lot happened tonight, but I can still manage to be at our apartment an hour earlier than usual. She should be glad. I sneak into the apartment as silently as possible, trying to surprise her. When I reach the bedroom, I see something unexpected. It hits me like a ton of bricks. At the beginning, I can't properly parse the sight. When I finally understand what I'm looking at, it causes a wave of terror and disgust to swell up inside my chest. What the fuck? She's shocked to see me, doesn't know what to do. She's like a deer in headlights or a schoolgirl poorly trying to hide her misdeeds from a teacher. You're early. Yes, I am. These are my clothes, Dakota. These are my cigarettes. That's my jewelry on the table. Yeah, I was, and I'm pretty sure, God almighty, I thought I was just being neurotic whenever I noticed something dreadfully familiar in you. I can explain. Please do explain. A good 10 seconds of awkward silence pass. I can see her spending an eternity in her head. This isn't what it looks like. Oh my god. It is exactly what it looks like. I will just come out and say it. Dakota, are you single white femaling me? It all makes sense now. No, come on, no! I thought I was the leech in this relationship. We watched that movie together. We made fun of Jennifer Jason Leigh together. A roommate stalking and imitating her own roommate. Ha ha ha, what a concept, right? But I was being fed in a far more sinister way without knowing it. Don't be silly. Silly? I've never ever been this serious with you. So whenever she put on my makeup, whenever I used her as a mirror, was she always hyping me up because she wanted to live vicariously through me? So many little things make sense in retrospect. The little ways you kept modulating your speech after me, the weird ways our tastes were always compatible, some of your art feeling so familiar. None of it would trigger any alarms by itself, and yet she's as humanly embarrassed as possible. Julia, listen. Don't fucking touch me. I can barely think of anything more repulsive than being put on a pedestal like this. It's like the other person is begging me to perceive them as someone worse, if not outright subhuman. Don't be like this, just don't. You know, this would probably be infinitely more palatable if you talked to me like a person here and not like, I don't know, your fucking mommy. You know what? Fuck you. I've been locked in this apartment by myself because of all this pandemic shit going on. It's fucking me up. I know you have it hard right now, so I didn't want to bother you. Yeah, I was counting on you to ask how I was feeling. Babe, how is your work-life balance? Aren't you feeling claustrophobic? Hey, is it just me or is our drug supply weirdly shrinking too fast? But no, you are too much of a self-centered bitch. You regularly suck me dry and it's okay, but the moment I entertain the thought of taking something in return, I'm crossing a line. Oh no, I'm a member of an immortal elite society. It's so hard to cope. Dakota, whenever I gracefully decide to visit our apartment, let's just do what I enjoy until the pain stops. Fuck you. Fuck you, sincerely. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. There's nothing you can do but take, and you should have learned by now that just taking won't make you happy, you big dumb bitch. Stop. Just... I don't know what to say. I feel disgusted, both with her and myself. Just stop. Dakota breaks down crying. She grabs a jacket and purse, then runs out of the apartment. I don't try to stop her. I stand there for a short while in silence, then lock the door. Did she take her keys? I don't know. I don't know if I care. I desired for someone else, not for myself. For a way to open a different world, not get locked back in mine. I collapse onto the soft bed. I smell her perfume. I always liked it, but now it makes me slightly nauseous. I try not to think of Dakota. I think of Kaiser. I think of Kadir. I think of Callahan. No matter what I think of, I sense doom. I feel that I've just sealed my fate, whatever it may be. Everything fucking sucks. Back into the void. Back into the void. Back into the void. Alright everyone, it looks like we are approaching the finale. This is this part where everything comes collapsing down for our protagonist. That usually means that we are so close to the end. So what do you guys think right now? I was really sad to hear that Kadir might actually know what was going on all along, and maybe he was just trying to subtly give us hints about how to just survive. But yeah, what do you guys think? Who do you think is the one behind it all? Could it be more than one person? I certainly think so, but give us a like, leave us a comment, hit that subscription button. But for now, this is I'm Amanda, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!